And we also have followed these candidates, by the way, for a long time. The campaign is a grind. They say all kinds of questions. They keep coming back to them. What kind of person even wants to go through this is what you ask. This is an amazing process. Joe Toohey is here now with more information on the psychology of the candidates. Joe, want to hear about this?
Hey, Ernie, it's a job only 43 men in the history of the United States have held. This year, 23 people ran for president, and now there are only 5 left. And as we've seen so far, it's been a bruising campaign. So we set out to look at the mindset of what makes someone want to run for president.
Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone.
Running for president means your life becomes an open book.
Have you committed adultery in your marriage?
I have not. That attack was complete and utter garbage.
And as we've seen this campaign cycle, it can get alarmingly personal.
And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it.
So what does it take for someone to want to run for president?
I'm running for president.
To look at the current state of affairs and decide I'm the right man or woman for the job.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
Stanley Renshon is a professor at CUNY and specializes in political psychology.
I think presidential candidates are distinguished by the level of their ambition, number one. I think if you have a scale of 100, most ordinary people probably are in the 25 to 45% range. The heads of companies are probably in the 60 to 65% range. And most presidential candidates who stick with it and aren't just doing it on the fly are really in the 90 and 95% range.
In addition to ambition, Renshon says resilience is a key part of what makes a successful candidate tick.
It takes a lot. It takes a couple of years to plan a presidential run and do it. And not everybody is willing to do that, even though they might think of themselves in their wildest dreams as being president.
And as these candidates vie for the hearts and minds of Americans, it's what's in their own minds that can make your head spin.
And our heads are spinning, that's for sure. This is some campaign. We've never seen anything like this, Joe.
No.
You did an interesting story here, and we hear about they need ambition, but you've learned they need more than that as well.
Yeah, and talking to Dr. Renshon there, he said to really get in the head of a political candidate, there's really a perfect storm of qualities that they need. Self-interest, which is what are they going to get out of this, whether it's building a legacy or, developing some sort of official status. Could be purpose. What are they going to do with the job? And that's kind of common through a lot of them. They see something that's wrong and they want to fix that problem. And the last that's most interesting is resilience. A lot of people want to be president. He made the joke, every senator that looks in the mirror sees a president staring back at them. So it's easy to imagine yourself in the job, but to have the resilience to actually go through the process, to have that kind of bruising fight that you saw there, that's a whole different story.
It's a tough ride, especially this one. Who do they say is the most unique, psychologically speaking?
I think you could guess.
I think I can guess.
That one goes to Donald Trump right there. And, we talk about this purpose and resilience. He said he takes his purpose seriously. He wants to make America great again. But the self-interest is what's interesting to him. He almost views it as validation. He was a small real estate developer. He wanted to be in Manhattan, and now the presidency is his second act of being taken seriously, getting validated as a serious man, in American politics.
He kind of focused on the Republican side. Of course, we can say a lot for Democrats as well. But, you talk about the psychology of the candidate. We also have to talk about the psychology of the American public. That's something that's very important.
That's very important. And speaking of the Democrats, that's where he talked about someone like Bernie Sanders that kind of, it's about matching what the American public wants. A lot of people think they can be this calm politician that sort of gets to solve problems and think about it, but not anymore. Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, to a degree, kind of really saw the anger that was out there in the American public and capitalized on that. And that's why you're seeing these droves of supporters coming to them, because they're having that psychological match with the American public.
In the minds of the candidates. Good story, Joe. Thanks for sharing it with us.